2020. This agenda is complete to the extent known and formal action will be taken. Please stand for pledge of allegiance and silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mr. Bombs?
Here.
Mr. Baracchia?
Here.
Mr. Crowley?
Here.
Mr. Deloso?
Here.
Ms. Hohenleitner?
Here.
Mr. Murphy?
Here.
Mayor Gluckstein?
Here. Okay, approval of previous meeting minutes, February 26, 2020, special meeting, and February 27, 2020. I need a motion.
So moved. Second.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Bombs?
Yes.
Mr. Baracchia?
Yes.
Mr. Crowley?
Yes.
Mr. Deloso?
Yes.
Ms. Hohenleitner?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Okay, no workshop discussion, so we'll move on to reports. Finance, personnel.
Currently, the budget is being finalized preliminary, so we're going to try to have a meeting on that next week. Matter of fact, we'll talk. Lauren.
Police.
Yes, one of our new hires, Officer Morelli, started his 8-week field training this week, and he's doing fantastic. Our other new hire will begin with the department next week. We had officers attend several different training exercises, including DWI, breathalyzer training, incident command training, just to name a few. We had a total of 948 calls for service in February with 13 arrests, 157 traffic stops, and you will notice that our new Coast Patrol car is now on the road, and you'll probably see it around town.
Great, thank you. Fire.
Okay. We don't have quite that many calls, Brian, but we have 9 for the month and 29 for the year. Everybody heard and has been asking about the Ocean Avenue fire. There were no human fatalities on that, but it was amazing how quickly our guys got there. I believe it was 6 minutes when it went off. We keep having discussions downstairs about the fire truck. We are in desperate need of another ladder truck. We're looking for some used equipment until we can figure out a way to get the new one. We've asked the crew downstairs to make some kind of presentation and come up and give it to us as to what they want.
Thank you. They really did a wonderful job
Yeah.
on Ocean Boulevard, all the men. So thanks. Public Works.
As far as sanitation goes, the borough's continuing to enforce a 100% refusal on all plastic bags for recycling, so we ask that you stay vigilant in removing your plastics from those plastic bags. Remember, you can see there's still work being done on 3rd Avenue for water and sewer. The main water main replacement work on 3rd Avenue continues. And most importantly, this is Bob Darney's last month with us for retirement. So,
It is.
everybody's
It is
sad about
indeed.
that. Except for Bobby, of course. That's about it for...
Mayor, can I tag on to Councilman Murphy, please?
Absolutely.
So, our guys, sanitation team has been keeping track of plastic bags that have recycling in them. And I know there are a lot of upset residents because our guys are refusing to pick them up. And we have tried to educate our residents starting 2 years ago when we sent a blue postcard around. I thought I had it with me. I don't. It's on my desk. No black plastic bags. Well, that has morphed into no bags. And, you know, this is not an Atlantic Highlands rule. This is a statewide rule. When bags, plastic bags, get into the conveyor belts of the recycling group, it clogs it up, it stops it, it's man-hour, it's time, so on and so forth, and it damages the machines. So what we did is we changed the calendar this year, actually has no plastic bags in the recycling, in the all that stuff category. So it's here. It's on our website. It's on the front board. It's on the electric board. People have, it's in the men's room, you're right. People have sent it around on their Facebooks. And we sent out 73, not violation notices, we reworded it a little bit, but it is a notice. And we are asking people, as Councilman Murphy just reported, No plastics. The ordinance is very clear. Recycling bottles and cans need to be put in a, quote, rigid container with a lid, end quote. So we are just simply asking for your cooperation. Yes, the person that's been here 20 years, 17 years, 13 years, I've heard it all. And I appreciate that you've been here that long. But you have to comply with the rules. We just have not enforced it. And now that we are receiving violations from the county, we need to step up. So we're just asking for cooperation. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Sure. Planning board? Ron.
Planning board was very light this month. We only had one application for a small minor addition. Next month, April, will be a lot crazier, as well as May. I did ask Adam if we can schedule for our first meeting in April, our workshop for at least hearing two or discussing two of the areas of concerns that planning and zoning get sent up. So Adam and I agreed we're going to schedule ancillary buildings and difference between a cellar and basement, so we can get the verbiage down on that and send that back to him. Then the meeting after that will go after the other three. And that's all we have.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Recreation?
No report necessarily. The recreation, the basketball league has concluded, and it was off to it ended great. A lot of us went to go see Monmouth University's girls basketball game, which was an exhilarating end. Not the last minute, but everybody was happy. It was a great year in recreation basketball.
Okay, thank you.
I would only add that we'll be going to the special events meeting on the 20th to present formally the Atlantic Highlands Day featuring Touch a Truck. And then I'll just add for anybody that's there, I'm sorry I'm not there tonight. I'm here in Atlantic Highlands, but I just returned from France, so I am self-quarantining myself and reporting
And
back
we
home.
appreciate that.
Very much so. Thank you, John.
All right. Harbor.
Yes, finances looked good last month. We're up 2.6% year over year. A little low on dockage and winter storage, but I got an update for March, and those numbers actually have improved greatly. And this is without the head boats. One thing to keep in mind, C Street lease was approved and signed, and they've been paying their rent up and, prorated since January, but now the lease is signed, there's an additional $53,000 that we're going to see next month from them. So that'll be a nice bump as well. The Yacht Club is starting negotiations on their lease. It's a 10-year lease, expires next year. It's got 2 5-year renewals. The lease committee's working on that. The expansion plan is still underway. We've got some numbers we're waiting on, and then we're going to have a further discussion at the harbor, at the Harbor Commission, to discuss that some more. The ramp, we're going to look at some repairs moving forward. We have a temporary repair on the ramp right now. It's going to be good for about 2 years. A lot of damage underneath. We don't know how much it's going to cost, but that's out in the future. We're advertising for the headboat slips in the Fisherman magazine. And right now, 7 of the 15 piers have over 90% occupancy, and every day we're taking in more checks and money. And it's early in the season. Not sure how the whole virus thing is going to affect this. Doesn't seem like it's mattering at this point, so hopefully it doesn't matter. We'll just have to wait and see. And that's it.
Thank you. Environmental Commission.
Thank you to our DPW guys for putting up the fence around Hudson Springs, as we were concerned about that being a public nuisance. So thank you very much for that. It looks great. And our next environmental meeting is on the 24th.
That? Okay, thank you. Administrator, Mr. Peabody.
So I have a lot to report, unfortunately. The first thing is, while we're talking about Hudson Springs, we did agree with Princeton Hydro to have a survey done of that property there. Mr. Stockton, who has always treated the borough very well, he lives in town, gave us a price of $1,950. That work has been done. Princeton Hydro also had to delineate the wetlands that are there in order to get contours, and that was $1,450. That's been done. The bigger question is, what do we do? How do we proceed? What's the plan? So Princeton Hydro came in and did a 27-page guide, report, price quote, and right now, looking at a Phase 1 preliminary investigation, a conceptual design, and preliminary regulation coordination, because this is a project that's going to have to be permitted, is about $62,000 just for engineering work. So if you want to proceed, we have a little over $500,000 in the open space fund. This is an open space. It's a Green Acres property. The money can come from there. And if you agree, I will do a resolution for the next council meeting, and you can vote on that. So let me know your feelings, or I will pass this around, and you can take a look.
County has no play in the game?
They don't have any play in the game. I did make a call to the county park system asking them if they would be interested in a deed transfer of the property, considering it's a natural extension of the Henry Hudson Trail, and, you know, it would make sense. But I did not get a affirmative or a denial. So as of right now, I've always been concerned, and Mr. Kraus is in the audience. We've been through this 2-3 years now. We're always concerned that that right pillar is going to give way. And even Jeff Gall from Princeton Hydro says there's a little bit more wrong than just the right pillar. It's a little bit beyond that. So
it definitely something needs to be done.
Right.
Just hate to spend $62,000 and.
Well, that's Phase 1, and then there's a Phase 2.
And that's only engineering fees.
You got it. The work here is probably $300,000. So just so you know.
Thank you.
Coronavirus. So I know I've been bombarding your email boxes with this stuff, but the first memo to our employees went out on March 10th, and it basically, I know I shouldn't be licking my fingers either. So the freeholders issued a statement regarding the first 2 cases in Monmouth County. We're now up to 4. We shared some facts about COVID-19, some symptoms, the disease itself, to stop the spread of, don't lick your fingers, and our sick leave policy, along with a safety data sheet that our cleaning folks are using. It's called ODO, O-D-O BAN, B-A-N, ODO BAN. So there's a safety data sheet here for our employees. So that went out explaining, you know, what we're trying to do. We also communicated with fire and EMS, and of course the police chief. Our fire and EMS are probably the most well-trained when it comes to protective personal equipment. They wear PPE every time they go out on a call. So, you know, maybe not an N95 mask or a shield, now they are. And I also sent you today some do's and don'ts, if you will. Mr. Crowley made a few comments, and we tweaked that a little bit. But things that our general operations include, our fire and police include, our municipal court, and our DPW. So, again, only suggestions, they're not orders. And there is so much stuff flying around on the internet. It's not like I'm recreating, you know, recreating anything here. So that also went out to the employees. There is some things that I'd like the governing body to consider. Of course, we encourage the public to utilize our online payment system for taxes, water, and sewer. Also use GovPilot for reporting any complaints, code enforcement, dog license, potholes, road repairs, etc. I would like to close the municipal offices, and hear me out on this, on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, maybe open only Monday and Friday. I don't literally mean close the office, no one here. The staff will be here, but we have a drop box out front. People can drop things off. I say Monday and Friday only because I feel that trying to disinfect 5 days a week is going to be very tedious and very costly. There's a company that's around, Savage Restoration. You could use ServPro. You could use any of those companies out there. There's no guarantee that if they come in today to sanitize, the first person that touches the front doorknob is not going to have something on their hand or cough or whatever the case may be. So there is no guarantee to sanitize anything. So I'd like to close the public part of this, which We also have a problem with the library. And I met with the mayor earlier tonight, Mr. Bombs. Mr. Bombs is on the Board of Commissioners for the Monmouth County Library. He's going to check with them to see what their plan is with the library. We don't have the authority to tell their people don't come to work or we're closing the doors, but if something were to happen here, and listen, I'm not an alarmist, I'm a realist, and I don't knee-jerk reaction to things. I'm very, methodical, systematically approach things. I think we need to protect.
We need to be proactive.
We do. We do. Also, the land use, the planning board, I know it's the first week of the month, first week in April. You may want to consider, and I will talk to Mr. Colangelo, but they may want to consider canceling that. You may want to consider canceling the March 26th meeting, or there is a guide out today, Mr. Crowley, I sent this to you on email, from DCA, Division of Local Government Services, how to run an open public meeting, closed door. And thank you, Mrs. Kennedy, for being here. She's live streaming the meeting right up front, and maybe that's something that you would consider for March 26th, or at least March 26th.
The guidelines talk about live streaming, and as I questioned to you, Adam.
Yep. It's all here in this guide. Prohibit any of our officials from traveling out of state or in-state to any conferences. Most of the conferences that our teams go to are water sewer training, DPW training, insurance training. They're all canceled already. Also cancel all senior bus tours, all senior bus trips. They go on 4 bus trips a year. They should be canceled. The seniors building should be closed.
The next bus trip they have coming up is to the, I always get this back to King Arms Diner or Marina Diner.
No.
No?
No, they're going to King Arms, New York for the winery.
Oh.
Yeah.
Instead of
They could-
King Arms Diner.
They can drive to the diner.
I know
They're
that.
taking a bus. They're taking a bus. And
See, I never questioned
King
what
Arms Diner, Kings of New York, I mean...
Winery, yeah, I get it. Our police and fire, again, we don't dictate to the police chief or to the fire chief, but N95 masks and gloves. The fire department sometimes responds with the first aid. More the first aid responds with the fire. But sometimes they'll need a driver, and I would advise against that. Allow police command staff to direct when and where a police officer can enter a household. We have 2 officers, minimum 2 officers on duty. If there's a first aid call, both officers go. They usually go in the house. The command staff is going to have to make that decision. And of course, enhance the disinfecting. I have no problem disinfecting, but to come in and sanitize, I won't repeat what I said before. There's no guarantee. Municipal court, we are already working with our county vicinage reporting with Freehold, and the same thing here. Michelle Clark, our clerk, came in and disinfected this today and wiped down the whole dais and all that before the meeting. And then, of course, our DPW, same thing, the N95 masks and gloves. Jim Phillips is very good with that, and no out-of-state travel. So this is, right across it for your consideration. And in hand with that, Highlands, and Mr. Deloso also gave me this, Highlands closed their municipal building. So they encourage emailing, calling, phone, email, regular mail, fax. And again, apologize for any inconvenience, but the only way to keep the continuity of government going is to have our employees here. And if our employees get sick, then we know what happens in self-quarantine. I did attend a seminar yesterday. I was actually surprised they had it, but it dealt with family medical leave. And of course, there you go, look who's coming in the door. And it dealt with family medical leave and what could happen with the coronavirus and workers' compensation and somebody getting sick and not coming to work and not charging them sick time, and it blows my mind. And, I've been doing this 15 years, and very interesting. Last, two more things, I'm sorry. This is a COVID-19 pandemic plan, public plan for the borough. I didn't want to hand this out yet or post it until you guys saw it. I know a few of you have reviewed it, and I know the mayor made a few comments. There are copies on the front table here you can take before you leave. If we need more copies, that's great. Anybody on Facebook, you want to put it out there, let me know, I'll email it to you. Mr. Baum's already talked to me, he's going to put it out tonight. So cut and paste, do whatever you want, but this is the plan. This was, I know it might seem simple, but this was almost an all-day thing, trying to cut and paste everybody's plan. But this is very similar to Fairhaven's plan, and I appreciate them sharing this with me. And then Mrs. Clark, who is our election official, we will be sending out a letter to all town residents. It's going to be a postal patron instead of doing the mailer because it's a little bit more money when you do it direct. But this is regarding mail-in ballots for the primary. They are encouraging mail-in ballots. You have to email or call or write and get a ballot sent to you. But for $300 to send this out to everybody in all 8 zones, it is absolutely worth it, even if 10% participated. So this letter will be going out for the primary.
Now, also, correct me if I'm wrong, once you get a mail-in ballot, you're on there permanently. You don't have to do it every election. They automatically just renew it.
Right, and if you want to come off that, you need to write a letter to the Board of Election in Freehold. And you don't bring the ballot back to Borough Hall. You mail it in to Freehold, or you can take it to Freehold, either way. So, that's coronavirus.
Adam, one question regarding all this. So Mondays and Fridays, you're suggesting open to the public, normal, regular hours. Tuesday through Thursday, staff is obviously still working at Borough Hall, but the phones are working so people can reach out that way or via email, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
We really do need to be proactive than reactive to the situation going on. I know that I had a conference call with Mr. Arnone and Chris Merkel, who is Department of Health, and the state has actually given the county to the Department of Health. And so they really want us to be proactive. Everyone knows washing their hands and things like that. But closing down things, it's going to be inevitable. The superintendents of the county are going to be meeting tomorrow morning. So, you know, clearly there's going to be some situation that's going to be changing with the schools. Because already I know in my school that they're already set up for online courses at an elementary school level. So we just want everyone to be safe. Also, because it will be ramping up. We live in a small town. I'm asking everyone to check in on your neighbors. You don't know how many times that if they're self-quarantined that no one will check in on them to see if they're okay. It's like any situation. We need to take care of each other. Okay.
And we do have an Operation Reassurance Program, our police department. What is that? That is somebody who is elderly or has difficulty caring for themselves. They call the police department every morning, 7 days a week by 10 o'clock. If the police do not receive a call, they call that person. If that person doesn't answer, they send a police officer to your house. And the officers here have found people in distress on the floor, fallen overnight, and they have summoned the ambulance for them. So it's a good program, but again, when the mayor and I spoke earlier, HIPAA rules prevent the doctor's office, whether it's Dr. Mova or Dr. whoever somewhere, from sharing information with us on who's quarantined, who's self-quarantined, who's home by themselves. We can't do that. Anytime a doctor's office finds somebody with the virus, they have to call the Monmouth County Board of Health. The Monmouth County Board of Health will call myself or the mayor or the 2 designees, and they will tell us you have a case in Atlantic Highlands, but they won't tell us where or who, unless there's a release, unless there's a HIPAA release, and then we get the information. Don't plan on it. I've been through SARS, the nose thing, MERS, thank you. Yep. Y2K, you know, I mean, we've been through a lot. And, you know, so right now the deaths per day for coronavirus are very low. They're only in the 20th percentile of deaths per day. We know it's going to grow. We know that. So that's that. First Avenue. Sorry, but there's just a lot of information here. Back in 2003-2004, the governing body entered into an agreement with Monmouth County to do the drainage on First Avenue. Mr. Doherty's in the back laughing. The company that was doing the work went belly up, and we went after their...
Jeff been here?
Yes. And the company went belly up, and we went after their bond company. Mr. Doherty and I went to mediation in 2008, and were able to recover $495,000 from the bonding company to finish the job. Mark Boschek Mechanical came in, finished the job. We wanted our money from Monmouth County. We didn't get our money from Monmouth County. Then in 2009, we had the big pipe break on Bayside Drive where it closed half the road down, and under duress, we agreed to split that cost 60-40. The repair there cost the town $88,000. We paid $44,000 that year. Well, the county's been after me for their $44,000. I said, give me my 100, I'll give you the 44. We got a check for $56,000. So that's, really unfounded money. We went back into the bond. I don't find a bond, but I'm positive we had a bond. The only thing I can think of is the bond was paid off already, because it was, we had to. So, listen, if the money belongs in water and sewer, that's where we'll put it, but I'm pretty sure it was stormwater management money that would have come from the town. So, that's done. We got that. The Leos are going to have a food drive in front of Borough Hall on 3/22 from 9 to 12. There are a lot of people that are using the pantry. So, we all know the stories about Costco and water and toilet paper and Food Town and cleaning supplies. That's why they want to do that. School merger study. So, as you know through the email that I shared, the school has declined the most recent invitation to meet with the governing bodies. Governing bodies of Seabright and Highlands are doing resolutions to release the regionalization study that was done to the public on March 30th. With your permission, I will do a resolution for the next meeting authorizing the release, and we will get it to the public on March 30th.
Good, excellent. Can we also discuss at some point scheduling something at a town hall for council to have a question and answer period with the public about the study?
Absolutely. I think the plan, although not finalized, is a town hall here, a town hall in Atlantic Highlands, a town hall in Highlands, and a town hall up in Henry Hudson. I think they wanted to do, even though Highland, I think they wanted to do the three. And if Seabright wanted to have a town hall, they could do a town hall also. So this way every town has an opportunity.
And when you say here, I'm assuming what we actually mean is probably over at the gymnasium at AAGS.
Either that, or if somebody feels that could be a conflict, then we would go over to the Parish Center at Mother Teresa.
Okay.
Two more things, sorry. Mother Teresa. So the planning board has a special meeting scheduled for April 7th, pending, if you will, 7 o'clock, to talk about the study that the governing body asked the planning board to do about the Mother Teresa School with an area in need of redevelopment or rehabilitation. That report is in its preliminary stages. That will be presented to the planning board, maybe at your meeting, depending on if you have it or not. And then shortly thereafter, that can be released also to the public on that day. So that's another opportunity for the school regionalization study that will finally be released to the public.
We have issues because I believe the governor said no meetings more than
250. I thought we were hiring, I think it was the executive session, hiring our own person to review the plans,
You didn't agree to that yet. I was doing some research, and I have 2 firms that will do that. I think the recommendation right now is to look at the cover letter that will be put onto the report when it's released, and you could do that simultaneously.
I'm sorry, Adam, did you say a date of when that might be ready to be presented?
The release would be March 30th.
Well, that's for the regionalization, but the Mother Teresa,
Oh, I'm sorry, that would be April 7th.
April 7th, okay.
Yes, sir. And then, unfortunately, I did not have time to update Mr. Barakia, but he did report on the harbor ramp that we did have some repairs. The ramp has become worse than it was before. So we had our harbor engineer take a look at it yesterday. It's not safe. And not the whole ramp, but a portion of it. And we are going to probably be moving towards an emergency resolution with an emergency appropriation to get that work done, because, as you know, our season's right around the corner, and there's a lot of dewatering that has to be done, and we do have somebody on board that's willing to do it for us, J.H. Reed. They're the ones that rebuilt the harbor. They're very familiar with the harbor, and so that's another thing that's on the burner. So, thank you, Mayor. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. Other than things that are confidential, I have one matter that I'll be assisting the borough on regarding the real estate transaction regarding Habitat for Humanity. And that is the only thing that I have to report that's not confidential in nature.
All right,
Mayor, can I
thank you.
pull another thing out? The Highlands Parade, you want to mention the status of it?
It, right now, it's suspended, so we will not be marching until they say we're ready to march. So keep your brain in your closet and ready. So, engineer.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to follow up on what Mr. Murphy said about the construction work on 3rd and 4th Avenue, Earl Asphalt is finishing up the water main and the water services. After that, they'll move on to concrete and pavement. They're projected to complete the project sometime in May.
All right.
You know, there is one thing with that project. So we do have a resident who's very upset that the tree in front of his house is going to be coming down. And I think he has called every single one of you to come please take a look. And the tree is literally growing into the street. The root and the boot of the tree is growing into the street, and it's not safe. And if somebody pulls to the side of the road, he's not familiar with the road, they're going to blow a tire. If a truck came down the road, maybe a small van or even a box truck, and pulled off to the side of the road, the tree is leaning into the road, and they're going to take the box truck off. The governing body last year approved a plan as is with that tree coming down. If you are inclined to allow that tree to stay, I will tell you, and I think Mr. Senna will back me up, is you're leaving a lot of liability on the table. You already passed the design immunity resolution, and you know, I don't know what else to do for the gentleman, and that's a concern.
I agree. If your previous governing body approved a plan, I don't want to deal in hypotheticals, but hypothetically, if there were a lawsuit and you didn't follow the design of the plan, I'm not sure that you'd have design immunity. That would be my primary concern. And also, I echo the concerns that the administrator raised concerning just general safety.
So I would invite you, just take a ride by, just take a look.
Can we offer to plant another tree in its place? Obviously, it's not a mature tree, but if he's worried about the appearance of his property or the shade, you know, in a few years, something grows to replace it.
Yes, there is actually a tree replacement program that is absorbed within the project.
It's in the budget already.
Yeah, it's in the budget already. So, yes, Mr. Crowe.
Good. Mayor, if Mr. Senator somehow missed our parking committee report, on 19th, we're having another meeting, and I would just,
That's not yet. Not yet. I'll tell you, I'll signal you. Like,
oh, I thought it was after environmental.
Nope, we have the chief, public works, environmental, and then so on.
And then
But I'll let you.
Yeah, the chief and Jimmy aren't here, they're,
I thought there was I on the agenda, after H.
What?
No, that's administrator, aye.
Yeah,
Okay, good, it's different this month, so never mind.
okay. So, others. So the chief is not here.
he's not, he's under the weather.
Public works.
Jimmy had a death in the family. That's why Mr. Doherty's here. Bobby, you got anything?
Everything's quiet in the borough. The guys are doing a great job. They did a great job across the street with the pavers.
Yeah.
We did have a little problem last week with the water dirty on Center, around by Mother Teresa. We had a contractor use a hydrant. Adam's wrath fell upon them terribly on the phone. But I just want to go on record that it was clean when it left the plant. So.
You like that statement, right?
Thank you. Environmental Commission.
No report there.
There you go. And Recreation.
I
No
don't
one
see
here.
Virginia here.
Shade Tree.
They met last evening,
Okay.
and I haven't been updated yet, and I don't think anyone's here from that commission tonight.
Okay. Open Space. Okay.
But we haven't met since the last.
Okay. School Board.
Yes, as far as Atlantic Highlands Board of Education goes, they're currently working on the budget. There will be a public presentation for all to come see on April 28th at Atlantic Highlands. Henry Hudson will be doing their presentation on the 29th. And hopefully sometime in May and June, the board will be coming to Mayor and Council to do a presentation here. As of right now, 5th and 6th grade end of the month play on the 26th and 27th is still on, although that remains week to week. They did send out, the school did send out an email and hard copy today regarding a technology survey, asking all parents to complete the survey, giving the